Everything's fine. Okay, let's do this. By the way, if we if we encounter some strange ads here, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to use an ad blocker yet. I haven't used one, and YouTube is strangely against it. Like, I'm trying to use some VPN and stuff, to at least spice some of these ads up, for me. But yeah, I don't want to long hold you on this one now. Let's react to this one now, okay?
May sound, the internet I grew up with in the late 90s and early aughts is a whole lot different than the internet as we know it today. Decentralized is the word I'd use to describe it, less privatized. Without social media tying us all together, you had to learn HTML to share your thoughts with the world. Search engines were less optimized. You had to know where.
Oh yeah, I remember way back then. Like, I don't know how I discovered YouTube. I believe it was through SpongeBob. I believe I've mentioned this on a couple of videos ago, a couple of reaction videos ago, like that I discovered YouTube by accidentally searching up SpongeBob full episodes or something like that on Google. And man, way back then, nothing was safe at all. Like, if I'm not wrong, I accidentally, by searching for SpongeBob videos, have gotten into some like some websites, some shady websites that were full with viruses. Like, old internet was wild way back then. Like, it was basically the Wild West of what YouTube was to us, So like, I don't know, like, you Google. I every time I tried to Google something, I definitely was nervous about googling that thing, because at the end I knew I was getting into some shady websites. But anyways, let's continue.
To look to find the goods. The goods, of course, being information and resources on all your favorite games and anime. There were large chunks of my life where I didn't know anybody IRL who liked the same games and anime as me, so frequenting these websites was my substitute. Though blogs like Super Mario Broth and the invaluable work put into the cutting room floor keep the spirit alive, the Fansite is an all but lost.
Wait, which one was it? Oh yeah, I believe I've been there once, yeah. Through some ROM hacking and stuff. I don't know.
Into the cutting room floor keep the spirit alive? The Fansite is an all but lost art now. More and more sites go offline each year as their creators outgrow them, as tides change, and
yeah, that's a sad thing actually. Like, a lot of websites these days do get shut down because the owners can't keep up with the costs of it. Like, way back then, before even YouTube existed, like, if you wanted to share a video, or if your video would get shared, you would have to basically pay a dime per view or something like that. It was some crazy concept way back then. And like, if I'm not wrong, Smosh got, like, the creators of Smosh even got into some they definitely had some crazy stories about that way back then. And the way they had to deal with it was also like, out of this world. Like, you wouldn't get to experience this stuff nowadays, but way back then, man.
as support for things like Flash give out entirely. I suppose, in a sense, I am duty-bound to share and archive the sites that no doubt informed who I am today. So journey with me through the fascinating bygone world of video game and anime fan sites.
Cool.
Though I didn't grow up with it, I want to start with a site that acts as a Rosetta Stone, a roadmap for what's to come. Kirby's Rainbow Resort, which launched in
I've never been a Kirby fan. I'm saying it out loud now. I understand the concept, but I've never been a Kirby fan. I don't know. It's not appealing for me. But I understand the game. It's a charming little game that you can like get into fast enough. I believe that's how you describe this franchise, right? Yeah, I don't know.
99 is the platonic ideal of a video game fan site. It contains nearly all the core elements that made the fan site unique from later forms of fan expression. It's got tons of in-depth information on the entire Kirby franchise, both its games and its anime, written in a distinctive and at times idiosyncratic voice. For example,
how many Kirby games are there even? Like way back then when way back then when I was a kid, I didn't know about Kirby at all. Like I believe I've saw it maybe once or twice, like a game of Kirby, of the Kirby franchise, but I've actually never got to experience one like till late 2000.
Like, did you know there was an official German Kirby comic that looked like this? Man, look at all this concept art.
Whoa,
Kirby.
whoa. Go back. Wait, what?
Kirby comic that looked like this?
Damn. Kirby's expressions are wild. What is that? Oh yeah, that's King Dedede. I know him from Smash Brawl. That's a G. That's a funny emote there as well. Is that Eggman? What is that?
Man, look at all this concept
Who's
art
that?
for Kirby Air Ride. Look at how good this looks.
Oh, wow.
This music page owns too. Very good use of blending layers. That's another huge part of fan sites, hosting MIDIs and soundtracks. With sites that have been around for this long, you start to figure out which pages are old and unchanged, and which...
Well, I think what makes the 2000s aesthetic so beautiful is that way back then, since the computers, can handle everything and everything was, still new way back then, the resolutions of the pictures were also rough, and it didn't much matter if you got some pictures here, some pictures there, if you just threw some things together, like it somehow held together perfectly. And I think that's what made the 2000s so better, so much easier. Like definitely these websites and the way they put these not thumbnails, how do you call it? Posters, I believe, like background posters together. Like they did not at all try. They just put like here an 8-bit background and these colorful text and like here a more better resolution of Kirby, That's a typical most 2000s thing ever, but that's only my opinion. I can be all wrong as well. I'm not much experienced with like art. Let's just say that, like digital art.
For newer editions based on their layouts. It's like counting up the rings in a tree, except with image compression. For Rainbow Resort, every section of the site is a bit different, and they're all so cute. It even has its own custom captcha. Another element of fan sites were their inclusion of works produced by other fans. Fan art, fanfics, fan-ripped sprite sheets, wallpapers, and I better see some of y'all using these icons. From about the 2010s onward, updates to the site's content slowed to a trickle, but it's still being updated to fix its formatting in order to keep true to what it was in its heyday. Another site I was relieved to see looking about the same as I remember is Animal Crossing Community, which has been around since 2002.
This one's
the year
interesting.
GameCube Animal Crossing was released in the States. I used this site around...
By the way, is my audio good? Like, is everything well adjusted? I don't know. Let me just get a peek here. Window. maybe put it a little down, the audio. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Around 2007, 2008-ish, predominantly for Wild World. While it still looks the same, it's up to date with the series, featuring resources for New Horizons. ACC had a huge element of linking players together at a time when Nintendo's approach to online functionality was a decade behind the times, but I used it most to grab town tunes based on my favorite songs, and for its library of user-submitted patterns. In Wild World, you only had 15 color palettes, so it was most effective to use black and white for the more, huge quotes, photoreal designs, because that way you had access to the widest array of values. I still remember these top 10 designs, they're totally unchanged. Like this Toon Link and... Going back to this site,
Did I just get rickrolled? I did not just get rickrolled.
Like this Toon Link and...
That's a rickroll, isn't it? No, wait, no, it's Austin Powers. Okay. I thought for a second like that this was Rick Ashley's dance move, you know? God damn. I need to look at things better. Like I need to be more careful.
Going back to this site, I was struck by how clean and harmonious everything looks, and how true to the games it is aesthetically, which makes all of the well-cropped game assets settle into place perfectly. Another site I frequented back in the day, and another that matches the look of its respect.
Oh, by the way, Animal Crossing, I've got into it a little too late. Like, if I'm not wrong, around 2013 or so, like around the Wii era, I joined it. What was it called? The game, the Wii game, Animal Crossing, something with City Folk. God, first best Animal Crossing experience for me. Like it's basically the black sheep of the old Animal Crossing saga, you could say. Like there was the GameCube version. No, the Nintendo 64 version first came, then GameCube, then DS, and afterwards the Wii version. And I don't know why everyone hates the Wii version. I don't know. A lot of people do hate the Wii version, and I don't know. I like it. It's kind of charming. I kind of like that game. I don't know.
Another site I frequented back in the day, and another that matches the look of its respective franchise perfectly, is Court Records, which was focused on the Ace Attorney games. I have a particularly vivid memory of bookmarking it on this very Dell laptop. Court Records was really helpful for me when I was younger, because while I adored Ace Attorney, I never had all the games. In fact, I think I only ever had the second title of the Phoenix Wright trilogy. So I was able to fill in some of the gaps in my understanding of the series. I remember...
What is happening there? What is happening there?
Some of the gaps in my understanding of
is this some fetish kind of thing?
Surprised by how young the cast of 20-something world-renowned lawyers and prosecutors are, and how far into the future the games were set. Yeah, the impossibly distant world of 2016.
Chicken.
You see this little dude and this gal? These are from Harvest Moon. I used them a bunch in videos.
Oh man, Harvest Moon, I've never got to experience that as well, but I believe I saw way back then the DS version of it that came out. I don't know. I've never got to experience that game as well. But it's a chill game. But the graphics kind of went bad after the DS era. Yeah. Kind of sad.
I don't know what other footage to use because I like farm animals a bunch, and Harvest Moon has some of the cutest in the whole business. I actually haven't played very many games in the series though, certainly not extensively, but every few years I give one a shot before quickly falling off it due to other
Yeah, this ain't no footage from Harvest Moon.
This cycle, though, is what brought me to Ushi no Tane, to this day perhaps the most in-depth resource for the Harvest Moon franchise and its spin-offs.
Oh,
Like
cool.
Animal Crossing Community and Court Records, Ushi no Tane
I've actually tried to recently play the Game Boy Color version of Harvest Moon, the one that came out for the Game Boy Color. I didn't get far at all. Like, I don't know what to do at all in that game. It's more a dumbed down version of the Harvest Moon PS1 edition, I believe. No, not the PS1 edition. I don't know what's it called. Which version was it? Like, it's a little complicated, that game. Let's just say that.
is still active and hosting its own videos. Wow, that's not very common at all.
Oh, cool.
Also similar to Animal Crossing Community, it's a resource with tons of visuals, which maybe this will make me sound like a big dumb infant, but it is very difficult for me to focus on large unbroken blocks of text without reflexively starting to skim the information within. Recently, I played through Yume Nikki for the first time with a walkthrough at my side, and I had
I need to play that game as well. This game, Yume Nikki. I'm thinking of doing maybe a live stream on it. I don't know. I think making a gameplay series on it is a way better way, but I don't got much time on my hands, you know, since I'm working and stuff. I don't know. I will look into it in the future. I'm definitely thinking about this though, so yeah, be prepared on that.
The hardest time following basic instructions without having to reread everything after each step to recenter myself. So yeah, the visuals are greatly appreciated. While it might lack some of the fun, offbeat bells and whistles of other Fansites, you can really feel the love put into these games all over. I know what it's like to eat, sleep, and breathe something you're passionate about. It's kind of intrinsic to the video making experience, at least in my process, but it's impressive to see what that passion looks like stretched across such a long period of time. One of the most popular, longest running, and most densely packed Fansites out there is the Mushroom Kingdom, fitting considering its focus on one of the
Never seen it. I was a huge sucker for Mario way back then, but I've never seen this website.
most popular, longest running, most densely packed game franchises out there. TMK started as a GeoCities site in March of 1997 and has been updating with new information, screenshots, and much, much more ever since.
Oh wow.
One of the funniest parts of browsing websites that have been around for ages is seeing whether or not their page layout is left or center justified. While their newer updates are pretty streamlined to confirmed news about upcoming games, if you dig a bit, you'll find a ton of oddities and oldities. I still use this site for the occasional voice clip or MIDI file. MIDI's nuts. In digging around this time,
Wait,
I
what?
noticed there's a page full of hosted fan films from the late 90s. These are amazing. A particularly dated element are its full transcriptions of various Mario game manuals. It makes perfect sense in the context of when these were drafted up. It's way more bandwidth efficient to host a ton of text than it is scans or crusty photos of each and every page. You saw this a lot with game FAQs back in the day, and it's present on the Mushroom Kingdom as well. How on the cheats and tips page, you'll occasionally find descriptions of glitches or programming oversights. Like, they mentioned that you can rotate the camera during the end cutscene of Mario 64 if you plug the controller into the second port. That's almost certainly
You can do that? I didn't know that you can
not
do
an
that.
Easter egg, but rather a development tool that was left in by mistake. Super cool either way. I had absolutely
funny.
no clue that was a thing. Glitches still had their own page, and of course it contains one that endlessly fascinated me in my youth, Daisy's Third Eye. I'm pretty sure I actually read about it in a Tips and Tricks magazine, which, man, video game and anime magazines are their own video. Nintendo Power taught me more about writing than any English.
Oh yeah. It's quite sad that these disappeared as well. Like, if only they were still up to date, I'd buy some. Like, I didn't know way back then that these existed. I've definitely saw one or two, I believe, but I don't know. Like, I was a kid way back then. How would I be focused on collecting these things here, right?
Class I ever took. I could talk for ages about the various unofficial Beckett magazines. Let me know if you're interested in hearing more about that. Maybe I'll do it in the future. But yeah, I remember reading about it and thinking for days on end about why it's there, what it could be trying to say, if anything. I remember trying to find it myself, but not being able to, and I still don't know if it's because my copy was one of the revisions where they removed it, or if it was because I couldn't figure out how to maneuver the camera properly. At this point, I honestly don't want to know. It feels right, in a way, to let this copy remain in a sort of liminal mode of existence, where this one element is concerned. Anyway, even just exploring for an hour for video capture, I saw so much shit I never knew about. From trivia about the casting of the broadcast satellite versions of Mario All-Stars, the Wario Koro Koro manga, or the Peach's Castle tech demo. This thing is so cool. It looks like security camera footage, and there's such cleverly...
Oh yeah, this I saw this tech demo once. It's a weird tech demo. Like, that ain't Peach's Castle for once, and for seconds. Why is there a Goomba statue in the underground? Like, why?
contextualized integration of the GameCube's FMV capabilities. Oh, and speaking of tech demos, there's a whole write-up on the Yoshi's Story GBA tech demo, which was probably written as far back as 10 whole years before the demo would actually be dumped. Time flies. Oh my god, look at these Winamp skins. Wario confirmed placebo fan. This next one was actually one I found through the Mushroom Kingdom while researching this video, the Bonk Compendium. While I didn't know about it until now, I've always had a weird appreciation for Bonk ever since I played the NES port on Nintendo8.com. Bonk is great. I love this little guy. His games are super charming.
This one. I've never played it. Looked strange for me. I don't know. It's not my type of game.
At times, really bizarre
it's not.
And abstract.
I don't know.
They're a lot of fun. This site only ran for a year, and it was focused on a pretty niche subject, so there's not too much of note. Oh my fucking god.
Wait, what? What is this? Okay.
Being about a niche subject certainly doesn't always mean your site's gonna be light on content, of course. Just look at the West Mansion, a fan site dedicated to quite literally all things Splatterhouse.
Oh, wow.
The propulsion with which this site documents damn near everything about this tiny little series is kind of awe-inspiring. To the day, to the digit sales numbers for Splatterhouse 2010. A complete list of cameos, including breakdowns on whether or not some games are referencing Splatterhouse or Friday the 13th. A complete list of merchandise. A massive collection of fan content, including art by the dude's two daughters. And I mean, just look at all of this fan art.
That's actually neat. That's actually neat that the like website developer put the arts of his children there as well. That he included it there. That's actually very heartwarming. Heartwarming? Is that a good description? I don't know.
It's worth making a distinction for those who are unfamiliar with what business as usual for fan communities back in the day looked like. Today, some may think of this as being maybe lightly exploitative to feature a bunch of art from strangers on your site, as though it was getting clicks that those artists rightly deserved or something like that. But a site like the West Mansion, that had been around since 2001, was offering to host that art there. Hosting images was pretty expensive, and while DeviantArt was already around by that time, it was on the more insular end, so being willing to ostensibly pay hosting for your art was kind of selfless for a webmaster to do. Plus, it brought your art to more eyes than otherwise. Again, this was before you could tag everything you post. I really want to stress here, for nearly the entirety of the West Mansion's run, Splatterhouse was 3 mainline games, a Famicom spin-off, and some ports. That's it. Compare that to just how much is on this site. I don't know, as a fellow horror weirdo, that just really speaks to me. By the sound of it, it didn't stop updating from loss of interest either. Rather, it was forced to go into archive-only mode following a mass exodus of Fansites, who were once hosted by Classic Gaming, then owned by IGN, who shut down their hosting features in 2010.
Okay.
I'm really happy that the webmaster thought to archive the site instead of shutting it down, or worse. It could have been converted into a wikia, now known as Fandom. This was the fate of the Mega Man Knowledge Base, another site I obsessively frequented as a kid. At least I think this was the chain of events. It may have always been a wikia or a wikia predecessor site, but I vividly remember it being in a pretty casual, sometimes jokey first-person voice. Wikis are almost never written that way, and while that's probably for the better, it's still kind of a bummer to me. That's just about the tip of the iceberg when it comes to problems with fandom, though, because, man, fuck that website. Remember when there were talks of them trying to copyright the word fandom itself? Fuck that. Fuck their stupid web Ps, their stupid fucking page-filling mobile hostile ads. Shit. It's shit. I couldn't remember the URL for the version of the MMKB that I remember, so I couldn't find any archives of it on the way back, so this one's a bit of a mystery to me for now. While researching in general, I kept running into this issue where I couldn't remember or figure out what a website's URL was, and I'd keep finding my way to sus as fuck religious websites. This was precisely why I captured all of this footage on a Linux partition. Shouts out to Tubbs.
Oh, okay.
Initially, I was worried I'd run into the same issue with another site I used to browse, Muse Hangout. All I could find was their Oikaki board until I realized they were a .com, not a .net. That took some trial and error. It makes sense.
Wait. What's the difference again between .com and .net? I don't know, maybe I'm being a dumbass right now, but I seriously don't know what's the difference. Oh, okay. Okay. I understand it now. Okay, yeah, makes sense, yeah. That was a dumbass question. Anyways, let's move on.
They were a .com, not a .net. That took some trial and error. It makes sense that I found their Oikaki board first, though, because this little Pokemon fan site was very art-centric. Origami guides, collections of fake cards, resources and tutorials for sprite editing, and other forms of fan art. Unfortunately, though, not much is archived, although their do not click is. Remember these things? I went to this site only a handful of times back in the day, right before it suddenly went down in 2007 due to a server mishap, nearly a decade into its run. For as much as the sentiment online that once it's there forever, this is a reminder that things slip through the cracks all the time. Again, this is why it feels important to discuss, share, and shine a light on these websites. A lot of these are sites I've never heard anyone else talk about. Following a similar mindset is Neglected Pokemon Lovers Unite, a collection of shrines.
Oh yeah, by the way, on that topic, like, the internet doesn't just forget everything. It actually captures everything there. So yeah, once you put it up. So once you put your content out there, it stays there, mostly. Just want to blow this one out, so you all know what to do once you've, not once, like once you've put your stuff out there, it's there. You can't delete it. Actually, it's just like, I don't know. It's just for you to feel better, once you delete something. But mostly stuff still stays there. Somehow.
On these websites. A lot of these are sites I've never heard anyone else talk about. Following a similar mindset is Neglected Pokemon Lovers Unite, a collection of shrines for Pokemon that seldom get attention or recognition, be it due to their competitive unviability, their lack of presence in the TCG, their perceived ugliness, or what have you. This site is genuinely touching. I think it's really interesting how the other sites its webmaster links to share in common a nearly defiant swell of old web ethos and aesthetics that transcend mere nostalgia and harken back to a pre-mass privatization
Ooh, this is beautiful. This one's beautiful.
internet in such a fashion that proves there's still value in hosting and sharing information outside of the rigid frameworks of social media. The NPLU shrines were what compelled me to code my own website through NeoCities. It's somewhere online. It's very simple and the HTML is probably pretty broken, but
Yeah, I tried to actually create a website of mine as well, but I've never gotten to it. I've looked up so many tutorial like videos on YouTube, and I was gonna do that, but it was around the last year corner of my high school, so I had to log in. I did not have the time to do any sort of that. I don't know. I'm still actually thinking about creating my own website. Like, it's not supposed to be the newest tech-like looking website, but something very charming, you know?
I had fun putting it together. It felt like an act of self-care to make
Oh,
something
so this is your website, okay. Oh. Okay, this looks fine. This looks actually neat. Oh.
purely for me, and also the folks pledging to me on Patreon. Thanks, y'all. The most interesting part of researching this video was noticing the difference in trends from video game fansites and anime fansites. Yeah, that's right, bitch. It's time for anime.
Oh no.
I got the vibe from the anime sites I browsed that they were all a bit more personal.
Yeah, anime websites way back then were wild, man. They were on another level, basically. They were more high res, basically.
More communal, less focused on being one-stop shops for their subjects, and more about honing in on whatever elements of a given series appealed most to their webmasters, and sharing and linking up with creators who did the same. Reels only. Of course, there were still sites that operated in that database fashion, talking about sites like animemusicvideos.org, which you know the first thing I did there was search for Elfen Lied AMVs. There's also Anime on DVD, which, man, remember when you needed a website to catalog how and where to find anime DVDs? Wild. Also, this one has a site comic. Can we please bring this how to draw manga shit back? It's so good. Blue
Looks
Laguna
cute,
is another.
yeah.
Credit to Neve for pointing this one out to me. I know it doesn't even count because it's a site that was predominantly dedicated to JRPGs, but keep in mind, the kids who were rolling deep in JRPGs in the late 90s were very likely to be rolling deep in anime because there was a direct relationship between game fidelity getting greater and the anime stylings of their designs being more unavoidable. People meme on Titus for being a pretty boy like Cecil didn't already look like this. Oh god. In
Wait,
2005,
what?
being a pretty boy stylings of their designs being more unavoidable. People meme on Titus for being a pretty boy like Cecil didn't already look like this. Oh god.
Jesus.
Meme on Titus for being a pretty boy like Cecil didn't already look like this.
Damn. He almost looks like Griffith, honestly. Like, if Griffith was an AC/DC fan, though. Yeah, wow.
Oh god. In 2005, Kitase said that the Final Fantasy VII remake would take 5 years to develop. Despite being down out, the site
Never played Final Fantasy. I've been thinking, though. Like, maybe one of the new ones? Like, I don't know what's the newest one, though. There was a Final Fantasy VII or so, something like that, that came out for PS4 a couple of years ago. I'm thinking about buying that game and doing a gameplay on that, but I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
is really well
Just
archived,
maybe.
which I think is a testament to how beloved it was. And that's more than anything why I wanted to talk about it here. Also, I couldn't figure out how to fit it anywhere else. Buy WoW Gold in Final Fantasy XI, Gil. Wait, isn't that Goku? Okay, we're entering a reels-only zone. Wait.
Is that? Is that the off? Not the off. The yeah, that's the guy that drew the Dragon Ball series, right? I don't know.
Isn't that
This is a fan pick, right? I don't know.
Goku? Okay, we're entering a reels-only zone here. There is no better touchstone for the zeitgeist of anime fandom in the late 90s than the big two, Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon.
I guess we're getting into it now.
Is
Oh boy.
such a primo anime fan site. Shouts out to Adam for the recommendation. Operating from 1999 to 2013, this site has a lot of the key pillars I talked about earlier. The gallery is full of wallpaper and fan art, an incredibly thorough summary of the entire series broken up by arc. I love the page that attempts to chart the entire cast's power levels from arc to arc. I will be perfectly honest, the Webmaster's Vegeta AMV set to Blink-182's Adams song made me sincerely kind of emotional. Pure cinema. Absolute fucking kino. Oh my god, this site has a whole section dedicated to hype for Dragon Ball Evolution that goes completely cold right before its release. Even though the site was still active until 2013. It's like the Webmaster just couldn't bring himself to speak its name after seeing it. Wait, Goku was planned to die in the sequel?
Wait, what? Oh, there was a sequel?
Of all the interconnectivity I observed,
I know that there was a Dragon Ball movie, but I didn't know that there was a sequel there. Did they make a sequel there? I don't know. Like, not a sequel series, but a sequel movie, I mean. Was there a sequel movie there? Like, of the live action? I don't know.
in my research, the pocket
Wait, let me look it up. Um... No, there's none. There's none. Okay, good. But there was definitely like there was a live action movie there, but I guess because it's like tanked off, I guess. How do you describe it? It just didn't blow up like they thought that it would. I believe the script was so bad, the actors basically knew that it wouldn't make the money back, so it would basically it would tank off. Basically, I don't know how to describe it. Like it just wouldn't be a good movie. So yeah, I don't know.
of old web that carried this trait the strongest was that of Sailor Moon fan sites. They were all linking to one another.
Oh yeah, Sailor Moon way back then was also a big fandom. There was definitely a big fandom way back then for Sailor Moon as well. Like I've seen some Sailor Moon episodes way back then. My sister kept on like trying to force me into looking into the series as well. I don't know, never got into it. It's not my type of anime.
Shit. So it felt like I could just kind of click around endlessly and always wind up somewhere new. Sometimes I'd be browsing and wind up at a Christmas-themed Sailor Moon site, or a site dedicated to the 2003 Tokusatsu series that also has a massive list of every moon goddess across known culture the admin could find. Sometimes I'd wind up way out in the middle of the sea at a fan site all about Digicarrot, or one for Yuki of Judy and Mary fame. I love Judy and Mary. They're one of Mariko Goto's favorite bands. It's a shame this massive collection of images isn't archived. I bet some of these are like really hard to find nowadays. No matter what, while clicking from
Yeah, most of the 90s stuff is pretty hard to find nowadays. Like, old stuff does get deleted more now than ever, and sadly, most of us aren't even aware of it. It's a thing, sadly. I don't know. Since like physical media is like disappearing as well, it's getting harder and harder to preserve the old stuff from 90s and 80s, especially the 2000s as well. Now, I don't know why. It's a mess. It's a whole mess, sadly.
site to site, I'd always find my way back to Sailor Moon, which makes sense given that it was such a massive international hit that broadly appealed to girls and boys alike. While skimming through a particular site's episode guide, I stopped myself to ask, why are so many of these so in-depth, down to like scene-by-scene summaries? But upon thinking about it further, it makes perfect sense from a functionality perspective. There are 100% holes in my memory of shows I grew up with because it was so easy to miss episodes here and there. In particular,
like, I wonder what kind of websites One Piece had, because if you know, you know, right? Like, One Piece is the manga that had the manga series that has the most you call it the most chapters. So yeah, and especially the anime way back then, like the big three definitely had some big fandoms way back then that were like really active as well.
I missed a lot of my
not like today. Today, like, everyone basically knows about anime ever since the 2020s, you know, since that one incident. But yeah, like way back then, like the fandoms were big already. So yeah, the websites were definitely something.
My favorite shows on Toonami until I was allowed to stay home alone, because my parents would so often go out on Friday nights, taking me with them. I learned more about the story of Dragon Ball Z from the PS2 games than I ever did the anime, because the anime was
never played them.
Hard for me to find. Oh man, if you want to...
Although saw my cousins play them. I don't know. I'm not... Like, I don't know, I never really went outside to get like console games and such not. Like, I don't know, like most of my stuff I got from my parents, you know, when they bought them for me, but I never went outside to buy my own games way back then. It's a typical thing.
See, no shit, the most impressive use of HTML I have maybe ever seen? Look no further than animetheme.com, which has been running since 97. Shouts out to my friend Emoji for pointing this one out to me. The site simulates a Windows 95 desktop for you to navigate through an expansive treasure trove of old web anime content. It is so ridiculously in-depth that I could never do it justice. It's a shame that I just don't have the time to get lost in this thing like I did as a kid, browsing my two favorite websites, both of which were Pokemon-centric, and both of which I want to close on.
Oh, come on. Even if I switch to other countries, the ads still getting worse. Like, I need to get an ad blocker here, really.
more popular of the two
Pisses
because
me
I want
off.
to save my all-time favorite for last. So let's jump right into Cerebi.net. I know it's technically pronounced Cerebi. It's the Japanese name for Celebi since they just romanized its name in localization, but in my head it will always be pronounced how my little know-nothing child brain saw it. While its layout may be archaic and a bit confusing, what makes it cooler to me than other Pokemon sites is how much it honed in on the franchise's idiosyncrasies. Bit of a running theme here. It has unique pages for each Pokemon for each generation they appear in, which is a huge help because I sure as shit don't remember what Torchic's moveset was in.
I've never been to a Pokemon website. Like, I've definitely been once or twice, but I've never been to a Pokemon website to, wind up my knowledge on the movesets of Pokemon. Especially in the 2000s when I got my first Pokemon game, I just enjoyed the game. I tried to figure out everything by myself. Like, I don't know. It's like looking up the cheat codes on a game that you were not supposed to have. Except for GTA, that's a normal game that you should be able to cheat on. That's a game. That's a typical game. That's a typical. I can't speak. I seriously can't speak. That's a typical game where you are allowed to cheat on. Yeah.
Gen 3 offhand.
Let's move on.
There's even a Pokedex specific to the mainline manga. Going more granular, I remember learning about the mechanics of Spinda's spots and Feebas's spawn locations, and looking longingly at all of the event-only Pokemon I'd never get to catch because they were never released in the States or I otherwise missed out on them. I first started using the site in the run-up to Diamond and Pearl's Western release. I remember being floored that there was such a complete list of all the new Pokemon available before the game even launched. Like, holy shit, they still had their Japanese names. They were hot off the presses. If you go there today, Cerebi looks almost identical to what I remember, save for the absence of its entry screen, but there's one key page that's missing. My favorite page, their list of hoax Pokemon, Fakeamon. This
Oh boy. If I'm not wrong, there are a lot of fake Pokemon out there, aren't they? Aren't there? Especially with those mashing mods that they got now. Like, Pokemon's gotten wilder ever since then.
page
I've seen some videos on it, and it's crazy how you can mesh some of those designs together to make a new one. Like, people had to program that in, people had to put those like Pokemon into the game, into the mods, and that must have took a long time.
literally hot-wired my brain. I just want to go down the list with you so you can hopefully understand why.
Yeah, that looks
This
cursed.
first one
That
is so
looks cursed.
glum-looking. It's kind of scary. There's a mortal resignment to its pose. Its saggy, lanky body lurching
It's this thing here. I don't know what that is. These two white buttons, I guess. Like, they feel so off. And the shadowing here is kind of off as well.
slightly forward. The fact that it's a grainy camera photo of someone's screen makes it look like if I stare too long, I'm going to witness an execution. Check this out.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
100% set in stone that it's fake. It's crazy to think back to when we didn't know what Piplup's evolutions were. I could totally see this being real too. I kind of like it more than Empoleon in some ways even. Okay, another good cryptid sighting. I think at the time they had announced Lucario was a final evolution Pokemon, or maybe people were just correctly assuming that there would be a pre-evolution. This one is just a blue dog. It's so funny. There must have been a pretty limited supply of screenshots at this point because these fakes adore this back sprite of Buizel. These three are so obviously fake, but it absolutely planted the seed in my head that some point, someday, they may announce a Pokemon game with a trio of starters who don't.
Damn. Looks like Pinocchio. I don't know. Almost looks like Digimon characters. Not gonna lie. Never played that game as well.
Follow the grass, fire, water trifecta. Chisume is just a good little friend. Big fan. Now, this Chew? this chew? Korechu is one I never thought to dig too deep into until now because the art here is so assuming. Turns out it came from a really elaborate April Fool's prank for a Hey You Pikachu port for the DS. It's really cute, but the Japanese is hilarious. Koreyu. Good stuff. Gotta love the weird little Ditto Bonsley too. These legally
That's straight up a goddamn Digimon monster thing. Like, this ain't a Pokemon.
distinct Groudon and Kyogre are from Action Replay boxes, I think. This Skitty mock-up is so cute. And then, back to the scary stuff. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
What is that? That looks like a mole. That looks like a goddamn water Pokemon. What is that? Is that a... What is that?
Here, these guys are like non-Euclidean.
Ugh.
I still can't quite pin why I reacted with so much morbid fascination to these guys, but I think it's safe to say they were filtered through my brain's rock tumbler into the same pile as some of the stuff I learned about from this next site. TRsRockin.com, short for Team Rockets Rockin', was by far my favorite fan site in my youth. I spent so many nights reading and rereading articles on this site while listening to The Pillows and Daft Punk between watching YouTube anime reviews and playing SNES ROMs. There was even a version optimized for the Wii Opera browser, and you know I browsed it on the Wii Opera browser from time to time.
That's a weird addition.
While it branched out here and there, this was, given the name, predominantly a Pokemon site run entirely by a single woman who went by TR Rose. What I liked so much about this site was how much it embraced the many oddities of the franchise. It made me theorize about the lass in the opening of the anime, likewise just who on earth Ash's dad was. TR's Rockin' also had a mystery of its own, although it seemed to be missing from the archive I was browsing. A series of secret codes that when combined would spell out the URL for a secret page. I was never able to figure it out despite my trying, so I still don't know what it contained. There were two aspects of this site though that fascinated me far more than the rest. First, it was primarily responsible for birthing my love of glitches. It was how I learned all about Missing No. I think I may have even discovered this site because someone on a forum or something mentioned Missing No and I wanted to learn what they were talking about. Good thing I wound up here, because the amount of documentation about the ins and outs of its effects, mechanics, and technical explanation.
I discovered this Missing No from a YouTube video. I don't know. I was pretty much late to that one. Like, I did not at all knew that this thing was in the game. Like, that you could get this game glitched so much that you could get this one Pokemon here. It's not even a Pokemon.
Documentation about the ins and outs of its effects, mechanics, and technical explanations was unparalleled in its day. In fact, I believe this may have been the site's claim to fame, as Missing No's Tetris block-styled variant became its sort of unofficial mascot. I was kind of freaked out by Missing No, especially those theorizing about it being the remnants of code from an unspecified 152nd Pokemon. What could it be? Why was it cut? Did it know too much? Growing up, I only ever had Yellow version, which had a different incarnation of Missing No, and I never got far enough in it to perform this glitch, although I did go to Glitch City a good handful of times on a cousin's copy of Red. Looking back, this was all just the tip of the iceberg for how malleable first-gen Pokemon's spaghetti programming truly is, especially when compared to the arbitrary code execution people can pull off today. Okay, here's a good example of just how much so the era of fan sites was anarchic, self-moderated, and unlike today. While browsing, I happened across a ROM hack, like a patched ROM of Pokemon Red that I've never heard of anywhere else and cannot find any information about. This was just on a page about Missing No, too. This is because a ton of TR's Rockin's information was submitted by readers, and enough of it was anecdotal that Rose had to start breaking up her emails in order of plausibility. You can just say shit online, after all. Nintendo uncles need not apply.
I think I've discovered what Pokemon Missing No might be. This is just a theory though. I was bored and decided to try and decipher the glitched up mess, and I finally got it to match a Pokemon someone had found. Yoshi. There's a code that lets you get Yoshi. I've never tried it, but 90% of everyone I've asked that tried the code said it worked.
This one is just insane.
Bro.
The guys, it's a spider. Levels contained in this post are off the charts. I especially love this one because they're referencing that famous magazine hoax that some kids believed. You know, the one written by J. Esther. As the site continued updating, it started hosting bits of information about glitched Pokemon from Gen 3. These freaked me out. The totally style incongruous question marks, the colloquial term being bad eggs. If I recall, my logic was like, if Pokemon can evolve, and these question mark Pokemon exist, how and what do they evolve into? See, the thing about being a kid with the dyslexia ADHD combo in a barely post-YouTube world was that I was reading tons of fan sites, but I was really just skimming everything. It's why I would read and reread their various entries and articles so religiously. Each time I picked up on something new. The result was that a lot of this information is very hazy in my mind, a miasma of misread nouns and vivid images. I could get a general understanding of why they existed, but it always felt a bit dangerous. So too did the other element of the site that occupied my mind as a child, its documentation of bootlegs.
Stell dir vor, du kannst alles erstellen, einfach indem du daran denkst.
I hate these
Das ist
ads.
Baseball.
Oh, Jesus.
It had your standard
Pikachu, what
non-specific
happened to you? Why do they reference all Jamaica? I don't understand.
It had your standard non-specific bootleg toys, your prettiness BBs, soul stirrings, fun toys, but by today's standards, that stuff's sorta low-hanging fruit. No. The real shit was the Pokemon bootlegs. Yeah, we got knockoffs of existing figure molds with shit paint jobs for days, but I need more. Give me something harder.
If I'm not wrong, JonTron did a video on this as well. Like, it's an old one though. It's a great video, would recommend it. Like, it's basically him playing like these type of games, especially the Pokemon games as well. Funny video. Yeah, this one's basically a Sonic clone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the skung I crave. This age of bootleg games was separated primarily into two camps: reskins of bad licensed games and stolen ROM hacks. In the first camp, you got the classic Pokemon adventure, Pocket Monsters Go Go, with the hexagram doors.
Just want to say that out loud as well. Like, what's happening here, buddy?
And Meowth Celine Dioning about how you're his nightmare. Bugs fucking Bunny. And Smurf's 3-level design. Deeply uncanny experience, but 10 out of 10 Pikachu. I suppose the Telephone games, unofficially localized as Pokemon Diamond and Jade versions, count? Well, have you had curry?
Nah, but I do have this IRL creepypasta ass story of how I got to meet Domesday.
What is Domesday? Why does it look like that?
So, outside of the city I grew up in, there's this big old rooftop marketplace.
Like, wait, let's go a little bit.
Story of how
It
I
looks
got to
like a
meet
crab.
Domesday.
It looks like a fusion from like it looks like a fusion that came out of like it's a mixture of Blastoise and that one crab Pokemon. And you add these horns in, and that's basically it, right? This is a weird creature, man. What is this? Level 72, Jesus Christ. Must have been a tough fight then.
So,
to get him
outside
to
of the city I grew up in,
defeat
there's
it.
this big old rooftop marketplace. It has a name, but no one uses it. People just call it the black market. Diet Kowloon vibes for days, and like, you know, if you want some pocket knives or some shit, you can get them. If you want some sex toys made out of dubious materials that may or may not give you cancer in the long term, you can get those too. If you want weed lollipops or
Girl Scout cookies, cannabis lollipops. Oh man. That's something I've never seen before. This is something new. Wow.
Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses for $3 a pop, you can certainly get those. And if you want to be pickpocketed to hell and back, then this is certainly
Snoop Dogg would have loved those. He would have definitely loved those.
Growing up poor, though, me and my family defo went here more than I would like to admit. And one day I was cruising around with a friend when we saw a vendor that had some video games. So I was like, hey, psst, bro, look, video games. And so we run on back to our parents, all like, yo, dad, bruh, it's video games. And then his dad was all like, no, I don't know about that. And then we were like, no,
Yeah,
but for real though, for real. So we went back.
Yeah, just listen to your dad. Get out of there. It's not worth it.
There, and they had some PS1 games, mostly those weird-ass Euro-only ones like
Hugo for Dandy. Hugo is best.
Well, maybe best is too big a word. As some PS2
Yeah,
games,
maybe.
but most of all, Game Boy games for days. And one jumped at me right away. An entirely black, all black, everything in fact.
Oh yeah, if I'm not wrong, Jontron talked about this as well. Yeah, the design choice is unique. Let's just say that.
Game Boy Color cartridge, black cart, black label,
This is a well-known one.
and only the sole logo of Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I bought it. Or rather, I forced my mom to, but you know. And when I got home, I popped that bitch in and...
Oof.
Yeah, this is the oft-memed Chinese in origin, but English-ish in language in version of Keitai Denju Telefang. The game takes place in the year 2020, and there are special...
Oh no. Not the 2020s.
mobile phones equipped with a unique antenna called D-Shot, which allows teleportation through antenna trees. Okay. It's basically just phone Pokemon, and it's pretty cool. But when paired with that creepypasta-ass origin story I just explained, shit freaked me the hell out. What's cool as well is that more commonly, these were sold under Pokemon Diamond and Jade. And just look at this cartridge, which is significantly less scary than whatever eldritch object I happened upon. Not really any documentation I could find about it existing in this exact form that I had it in either. Probably some very locally made bootleg, I imagine. Though it almost makes you wonder if I even ever truly had it at all.
What do you mean?
Did Thor just say he's never had curry? Exponentially scummier though it may be, and in part because of that scum factor, are the legit fan-made ROM hacks that got sloppily dumped onto carts and sold at flea markets and auction sites and shit. Pokemon Chaos Black with the art from Chaos from Sonic Adventure. Pokemon Perla, oh shit, it's Chisume. Pokemon Naranja though, this one was a white whale for me for a long time. What more could a girl ask for than a Pokemon game where you play as best?
Yeah, actually, I've seen some of these like bootleg games on Amazon and on eBay as well. And I've been thinking of buying one for me. I don't know, just for the lols, you know, just for funsies. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I've mostly forgot about it.
Girl Misty that's based on the Orange Islands arc of the anime, the best arc, clearly. I own a copy now. I got it on what was absolutely one of the best days of my life. I got to wander around the set of a low-budget horror anthology local TV series. I got to hang out with goats, and I spotted the homie at a local game store. This game is fucking weird. I can't say for sure, but I get the feeling it was primarily optimized for emulation because it feels really sluggish on real hardware and you never get the running shoes. It also inexplicably rewrites certain mechanics with no explanation, so it feels like a randomizer.
Okay, that's weird, yeah.
Lapras learns Surf by level up, but you have to like really grind to get to that point, like 8 whole levels. It's wild. I bought that cart with my old roommate, who I would always talk to about these bootlegs, but the one that fascinated us the most was fucking Pokemon Frigo Returns. This game is so mysterious. The weird airbrushed fan art, the foil box, the Lucario far off in the background. This dude's name isn't
Yeah, it
even
looks
Frigo.
eerie.
Oh, wait,
Looks weird.
Frigo is this guy? Oh my god, its shiny is just inverted. Where did he go? Where is he returning from? I don't know how I never thought to play it until now. It's available in browser even. Snow Leopard, if you're out there and you ever want to offload your collection of bootlegs onto someone, hit me up. These are still surreal to me, even in my mid-20s. Looking back, these were coming out not even that long after the games they were based on. Beyond the inherent uncanniness of such clashing styles of the original art and the added Pokemon, the baffling decisions and lack of consistent logic meant that in pondering why these all exist the way that they do, I was searching for an answer I'd never get. One that, if I did get, would no doubt feel unsatisfactory. Just like Daisy's third eye, the chase is part of the experience. Some things are more potent when left Looking back on these fan sites, I feel aware now more than ever what a weird spot the internet is.
Okay, that
in
was
right
a
now.
weird
We're all
cutout.
closer in digital
Like,
more than
it's
ever.
just-
Things
what?
are more potent when left Looking back on these fan sites, I feel aware
Okay.
now more than ever what a weird spot the internet is in right now. We're all closer in digital proximity than ever, at our most likely to cross paths with one another without realizing it, at our most able to glean very personal information about one another we make readily available for whoever may come across it, and to make assumptions about one another, yet things still feel so fractured, bubbled. What I always have to stop and tell myself before I start acting like a Luddite, though, is that what's changed are the formats we interact with, not human nature. Each hand will always wash the other, but I want to believe that even as the internet gets more privatized, as we feel more connected yet more isolated, that our ability to step back and assess our behavior and that of others will be what grounds us, what allows us to keep in mind that there are real people on the other side of our screens. I don't know, man. Shit's complicated. Fuck Megacorps, fuck Disney, fuck Twitter, fuck fandom, and fuck the Zuck.
Yeah, fuck him
Even though this
especially.
video ballooned way out in scope, it doesn't even scratch the surface of the old web experience. From Flash animations and games to non-English speaking fan sites, from Angel Fire, Tripod, and GeoCities to official websites like the Brawl Dojo. For as insular as the internet was back then, it was still enormous. And it probably only feels as small as it does by comparison because of how much has been lost. So thanks to everyone making efforts to archive what was once so dear to us. Alright, I gotta get out of here. I've taken up far too much of your time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna we're gonna now switch off to games. But before we do that, I'd like to thank oh man, I haven't even watched who the creator of this video was. Hazel, this video was fantastic. It's leading very much into what was a weird and yet so beautiful way back then about these websites. And I'd like you guys to go into Hazel's channel and look up all the other videos as well. And yeah, I'm gonna end it here with the reactions, and we're gonna go now into gaming. We're gonna do some gaming now. That and